Hello, everybody, and welcome to your Week 10 preview show. Very special guest tonight. We have Jedediah Allhouse filling in for James the Thrusting Moynihan. Jedediah, welcome to the show. Why don't you give
great to be here.
Why don't you give the members of the league a quick update? There's some big news coming out of Fredericksburg a few weeks ago. You left your longtime employer, I heard, something like that?
Yeah, after 3.5 years of happy endings, I have moved over to Capital Ale. Currently being forced to serve tables, which is totally lame. But the best part is we have way better beer and tons of it. And the best part, beyond that, is that we get 50% off of all that beer.
Nice.
I only pay 50% for anything. And we get to take home these little bad boys. Big old growlers of beer every night, 50% off. So, it's working all right.
What are you drinking tonight?
This is the Ithaca Flower Power IPA. It's a floral IPA.
Very nice.
High drinkability and totally delicious.
Awesome. Looks good. I wish I had that. I got the old classic Raging Bitch here, my favorite beer.
That's always good. Got that artwork from Ralph Steadman on the label.
Ooh, I didn't
Can't
know
beat
that.
it.
Wow. All right. Well, you learned something new. All right. So looking at Week 9, Jed, we had a ton of blowouts last week. The only close game was a Monday night thriller, WrestleMania, coming from behind and beating Grimsley Bears by just a few points. Adam Vinatieri put up 19 points in that Monday night game, and a devastating blow for Grimsley Bears, and a little bit of luck for Snoots. So it's So what your thoughts there and on Week 9? Huh?
Yeah, especially a lot of luck for Ricky because Brandon had really put in. He had obviously devastated his bank to make his team a winning team, and he actually had done very well with that up until this point. Yep. I don't think either of them saw it coming, considering Ricky thought he was going to lose Sunday night. So.
Right. Yep. And after Week 9, the standings right now, part of the reason you're on the show tonight, Jed, you are not only the top point scorer so far this year, you have the longest winning streak record right now, and the best record in the league at 7-2. What is the reason behind your success so far, Jed?
Peyton Manning, typically. His matchup with Demaryius Thomas is huge for the flying macaques, as you might put them. But honestly, huge pickups in the running back position. With Ingram coming back, I didn't know that he was going to come back like that. He has. He's a huge, huge running back for me. Miller, who I got in the 9th round, has been so steady. He's never crazy good, but he's never bad. He's always 10 to 20. Always 10 to 20.
Yep.
And my pickup of Forsett, even though I got a lot of shit for that, has been huge for me.
Yeah, Forsett's awesome.
There's a reason I keep him in that starting running back position. So I don't anticipate that changing. So that's I think those are really the main points of why we are leading the league and hoping to continue that progress.
I'm just glad you didn't rap any Drake because we all know how that turned out for Johnny Boy since he was in first place.
No Drake rapping whatsoever.
All right, so looking at Week 10, we'll get into the matchups here. I want to hear your predictions. The first one I'll throw at you here: Chooch Island versus the Grimsley Bears. Grimsley Bears have a 3-game losing streak. Chooch also lost, coming off a loss here. Both teams struggling. Can't put it any better than that. Chooch starting two Cleveland Brown running backs in his RB1 and RB2 spots. Never a good formula. Sammy Watkins is questionable now. He re-injured his groin today, apparently. And Grim's team is looking a little bit better now, I think, with Rivera in the tight end spot, filling in for Cameron. and Rainey starting now that Doug Martin's out. So I'm going to go with Grimsley Bears in this one. Who do you like?
Yeah, I've got to go with Grim, especially because of the Cleveland running back situation. I mean, their projections, whatever they're worth, they're playing Cincinnati, and Cincinnati, I feel, is super pissed about not being as good as they thought they were going to be, and it is at home in Cincinnati. I've got to take the Grimsley Bears on this one.
Yeah. All right. So we agree there. Next up, Bad Blue Boys versus Strip Club Casanovas, the former roommates for a very brief moment in time. I think, well, BMAC's team, they're struggling a little bit. Obviously, he's 7th in the Happy Endings division, but he's got a 2-game winning streak. So I'm actually going to go with the Strip Club Casanovas. I think I helped him out a little bit this week, putting in Zach Ertz there.
With Larry Fitzgerald and Zach Ertz.
Larry Fitz and Zach Ertz going into his starting lineup. I'm going to go with Strip Club Casanovas.
Yeah, he desperately needed those changes, and the Bad Blue Boys starting Jonathan Stewart, for Christ's sake, Albert.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing over there, but I think it's a tough one. It's a tough call. No, I'm going to have to agree with you. I think BMAC takes it.
All right. How about the Thompson takeover versus the Washington Woo Woos? Like I just mentioned, the Woo Woos on a slide ever since that started from the bottom, now we're here chant. He is now 5-4, and his team just does not look quite the same it did at one point. Thompson takeover lost last week to me, but still a very strong team. He's got Gates on a bye, so he's got to figure something out there. But I think the takeover are much stronger here this week. How about you?
Yeah, I like the takeover. I don't know what they're going to do about the tight end situation there with Antonio Gates being on a bye. And I'm not sure how I feel about Ryan Tannehill. If he's going to stay in that starting spot with Romo, he's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know that you can start him. Actually, I'm going to take the Woo-Woos. I think that they're going to – I'm going to do it because even though the Thompson takeover is a better team looking at it, the Woo-Woos have pulled shit out of their ass for the entire year.
That is true.
And I don't see that stopping. So I think I'm going to take the Woo-Woos on that.
That would be a crazy upset, but I wouldn't mind seeing that. I can get behind that one.
Yeah, and how about the Woo-Woos picking up old Adrian Peterson?
That's true. Yeah, he put up $200 for Adrian Peterson, who actually
110 more than he needed to. But he and I actually were together in my living room when we watched the news happen.
Yeah.
And we started talking about what he would be worth. The fact is, I actually put in a bid initially that would have won Adrian Peterson, but it would have bankrupted me. And considering I was in first, I decided it was a dumb idea. So I downed it down to 27.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I didn't throw in a penny.
So best of luck to John with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's going to come to fruition, but I'm going to take John on that one.
Yeah, it might be worth the gamble.
Yeah, you never know, because the payoff is massive.
Exactly. Well, we'll let JK and Rag talk about that for an hour and a half.
Yeah, we don't want to take away from your hour and 15-minute long podcast.
Yeah, so let's go.
Which I do love, by the way.
I like it too. It's just a little long. Flying Macacos versus the A-Town Rat Tails. This is your matchup, Jed.
Yep.
So we're looking at Peyton Manning and Demaryius Thomas facing an Oakland Raiders defense.
Yeah.
The Raiders are 0-8. 0-8.
Oh, not just that. Not just that. We got Justin Forsett against Tennessee.
Yep.
Come on.
Very true.
We're going to run right over them.
Very true. A-Town Rat Tails starting Toby Gerhart in his RB2 position as of now. I think that's really all you need to know. I'm going to go with the Flying McCoskey for this one.
Yeah, I don't know if he hasn't outscored me since week 4, and that was by a matter of, I think, 8 or 10 points.
Yeah.
I don't think that is, I think it's just ridiculous to think that he will win. So I'll definitely take myself. A little disappointed in Steve Smith on my team so far after the trade with the, but you know what? I think I'm okay. Yeah. I think the projections are totally off too, so
projections
I'm not worried about it.
But yeah, you're doing all right with that trade. You're still 7-2, so didn't hurt you too bad.
Not too bad.
All right, so we got 3 more here. Masturbation, versus WrestleMania.
This is one of my favorite matchups this week. I can't wait to see what happens here.
Yeah. Who do you like?
Well, it's a tough call. Russell Wilson has not been the Russell Wilson of past weeks or years. That whole team is suffering, and his projection at 23 is absolutely retarded. Against the Giants, doesn't matter.
Giants, if you watch Monday night's game, the Giants' defense is horrendous.
I watched it.
And they lost.
Oh, I know, it was terrible.
They lost some defensive backs, too.
But it's just not when you rely, I shouldn't say this because I rely on a quarterback and his compadre wide receiver, but Masturbation is relying on Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch to basically carry their team. Brandon Cooks, I don't think that's going to happen that many weeks in a row. And Kendall Wright, Tennessee versus Baltimore, I'm not a big fan of that. Percy Harvin versus Pittsburgh, I am going to have to say I'm going to take Retzel. I'm going to take Ricky in this one.
I think I actually agree. I'm going to go with Retzel too. But his roster.
And I also want that to happen because I think that my biggest competition in this entire league is definitely Jake.
No,
I don't know how you can argue that it's anyone else.
I take it back. Whoa. Your biggest competition is Jake?
Aside from you.
Okay.
Well, you just came back in the last couple of weeks. Jake's always been on my ass this entire time. And he and I were
what you guys do behind closed doors is a different story. But
nice. Nice. He and I also played twice and we split, thank God.
Yeah.
Because I would not want to play his team again. Honestly, going into last week especially, I would say that Jake had the strongest team in the league, not myself.
Okay. I honestly, I'm gonna actually change who I think will win. I'm gonna go with Jake, mainly because other than Breeze,
did you want me to lose?
And Le'Veon? No, I was gonna say that anyways. Other than Breeze and Le'Veon Bell, he has Anton Smith starting, who the last 2 weeks has averaged about 1 point.
Yeah.
And, the rest of his roster, Bolden's okay, Dwayne Bowe's okay, Donnell's been okay, he caught a touchdown the other night. The rest of his roster just doesn't really impress me that much. And I think Lynch and Wilson will have decent games. I think Andre Williams and Percy Harvin will have decent games. So I'm going to go with Masturbation. I can tell you.
How about Ricky?
I hope
How about Ricky having the Dolphins defense?
Yeah. Yeah, Dolphins defense can't keep that up. All right,
and Ricky wouldn't have been to that anyway.
I think we've exhausted that matchup. All right, Ducktown Quackers versus the Fighting Frog Swamps. Another set of former roommates.
Yep.
Brendan's team, I think, he gets a big boost getting Calvin Johnson back.
And I don't think that projection is all that outside of what it's going to be. I really think he's going to blow up. They need him so bad up in Detroit.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think Brennan wins this game. Even though his roster doesn't impress me that much. I don't think Martavis Bryant's going to keep it up. Kelsey has not been as good as
He's starting Chris Polk, for Christ's sake, right now. What the hell?
I was talking to him about Polk today because I have LaShawn McCoy, so he's my handcuff. But Brendan just way overvalues Chris Polk. I wasn't even sure we were talking about the same player.
How can you value him at all?
Yeah, I'm not even sure we were talking about the same player. He used the word stud
You can
muffin.
pick up someone off the waiver wire as hard as it is in this league at running back and still score more points than that motherfucker.
I agree. He was out to dinner on his anniversary dinner with Taylor tonight, and he honestly took the time out to say he wants to keep Polk because he's a quote-unquote stud muffin. And so I'm going to let that be if he really values Polk that much. This is the same owner that drafted Christine Michael in the 8th round and Devonta Freeman in the 9th round. So we all know how much he loves these players that get hyped up a little bit too much and have a few strong rushes, and then he thinks they're going to be amazing. So, yeah. I just don't get Polk in there. But with that being said, I'm still going to go with him because he's playing the Duckdown Quackers, who's 2-7 on the year. He does obviously Rag does get Forte and Lacey back, so those are the running backs he's been looking to put together. But I'm still going to go with the Frog Swamps on this one.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against. I really want to go with Rag on this one, but I can't.
Yeah,
got to go against him.
All right, well, that brings us to the last game, our marquee matchup. It's the best combined record.
Matchup.
There you go. It's the best combined record this week, 6-2-1 and 5-4.
Here we are.
This is a battle for the happy endings division, the first team versus second team. I'm really glad I picked up Palmer last week. He's top 10 QB this week. So I'm comfortable with him filling in for my boy Andrew Luck. Still got Murray and McCoy going. With Calvin Johnson back, that's going to hurt Tate a little bit, but I'm still confident that he'll get some touches. And Jimmy Graham, my tight end spots, I who I'm going to take.
Andrew. Well, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was looking, it is definitely the toughest matchup. We see that Andy is going to finally start Roethlisberger, which will be why he won't score a ridiculous amount of points this time.
Exactly.
Because twice you didn't start him, and look what happened, Andy.
So who are you going with?
Well, Randall Cobb, probably going to have a good game against Chicago. Jeremy Maclin with Philadelphia. I don't feel comfortable with Philadelphia at all. Just if you have wide receivers with Philadelphia or the Dallas Cowboys, you got to be nervous right now because you don't know what's going to happen. There's a reason that the running backs in those on those teams are so highly rated, and they should be. Because even the coaches have basically come out and said, well, on the Philadelphia Eagles side especially, that they don't think that they're going to really pull it through. It's a tough call on this one. I'm going to take you, though. I'm going to take Burgerlicious.
All right, thank you. All right, well, there you have it. That is your week 10 preview show. Jed, any other final words, or this is your forum, so whatever you got to say to the league.
Well, I do have to say that it's nice leading the league in the middle of the season, but as you might recall from last season, I was absolutely dominating in the middle of the season by myself, and I didn't even finish in the money. So
wait, you're dominated by yourself?
No, I was. Well, it sounds sexual. I was dominating the league in the middle of the season last year, and I totally finished out of the money. So I really think that I want to put that, especially this year, because really we have so many teams that are very close. They're not that many wins away.
Right.
So this is one of the years where I think that anything can happen.
Yep.
And there's so many teams that have a possibility of winning.
Yep.
the league or finishing in the money at the very least.
Yep.
So we got to keep on pushing through. Keep finding out what's going on. Also, fuck all of you because I'm definitely going to win this year. Thanks.
Nice. All right. Well, good luck the rest of the year, Jed, and good luck to everybody this week. It's been real. Have a good night.
Been real, been fun, but it ain't been real fun.
Thanks for joining, Jed. Later.